It's the game of the year. We got the number 6 Oregon Ducks headed out to face the number 3 Penn State Nittany Lions. Both of these teams come in undefeated. Oregon's 4-0, Penn State is 3-0. The spread in this game, Penn State is favored by 3.5 points. Over under 52.5 according to ESPN Bet Live. Kickoff for this game, Saturday, September 27th, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern time on NBC and Peacock. Now, I wasn't joking when I said that this game was the game of the year, because if I had told you Georgia and Alabama would be played on the exact same weekend, but college football game day would be there, big noon kickoff would be at this game instead, you would have been like, nah, George, you crazy. Well, it is what it is. So Penn State overall leads this series 3-2. In the last meeting, Oregon won 45-37 in the Big Ten championship game, which I was in attendance at, which was cool. And then before that, Penn State beat Oregon 38-20 in the 1995 Rose Bowl game. And this is the first ever meeting between these two teams in state college. I'm George Wrighster, former NFL player, college football analyst for CW. Make sure that you like, subscribe, get notifications, and be one of us. We are going to start out where we always start out. Head coach versus head coach. We got Dan Lanning versus James Franklin. And Dan Lanning, in short order, since being the Georgia Bulldogs defensive coordinator and working at Alabama under Nick Saban, dude has built a physical style of football out west, and they have explosive offense at the same time. It is one of the few schools that put together a top 10 offense and a top 10 or top 20 defense in the same year. And he's been able to recruit at a very high level inside of the top 10 the last few cycles as well. This is an SEC style defense and one of the most explosive offenses in the entire country. And he's chasing what has eluded Oregon this whole time. It is a national championship. They've won Pac-12 championships. They go into the Big Ten. The school wins 7 or 8 Big Ten championships their first year in. So when people were questioning would Oregon do well in the Big Ten, the answer is yes. They are just fine. They are just at home. Now on the other side, we got James Franklin. He is in year 12 at Penn State with a career record around 128-57, 2016 Big Ten title, and a reputation for building an elite roster, special teams. The issue has been with them. It has been winning the big game, because when it comes to facing top 10 foes, he's not having a whole lot of success. And so this game matters to James Franklin. It matters to Penn State, because if they're not able to win a game like this, people are going to look at him and be like, bro, are you ever going to win the big one? And Penn State is not going to get credit for their college football playoff run last year, because they lost as soon as they played a big name. But prior to that, they beat SMU and beat Boise State. So you're not going to get the credit that you probably deserve for that. In whiteout games, though, this is Penn State's, big game of the year, where the stadium's whited out and it's going to be loud, it's going to be ruckus. But to win it, he's going to have to cut it loose. Now let's look at quarterback versus quarterback. Dante Moore versus Drew Allar. Dante Moore this year, 71 for 95, 962, 11 touchdowns, 1 pick. And it is clear that this is a kid that has grown since his time at UCLA, and his 5-star potential NFL draft pick, first round potential, it is shining 100% through. His last game was against Oregon State. Best game of the year, 21 for 31, 305, and 4 touchdowns. And he was balling out. 4 different wide receivers scored. And the sentiment around him is, he is absolutely on a heater. But the question is, can he dispel what went wrong at UCLA? Is he now the guy that everybody thought he was going to be coming out of high school? Now, I can tell you this, because I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. When he was at UCLA, I saw him working out with the quarterbacks. I got 2 quarterback sons. And the thing that I saw was, he is one of the best non-professionals throwing the football that I've ever seen. Coaches get excited. Like, oh my God, that looks so amazing. Now, on the other side, we got Drew Allar, who is a senior. And this year, 57 for 88, 626, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Drew Allar has gotten a lot of criticism because He looks like Josh Allen physically. People have been waiting to see the heroics there. They've compared him, but the difference is that Josh Allen was at Wyoming with inferior talent. But this is one of them games that if Drew Allar can show up and have his best game as a Penn State quarterback, this is one of the games where legacies get cemented and narratives get just turned on their heads. Between those two quarterbacks, I'm looking at it, I'm like, it feels like Moore's ceiling is higher right now in terms of anticipation, yards after the catch creation, and willingness to rip intermediate digs and those throws. Now, Allar, on the other hand, he is going to be safe. Hopefully for Penn State, he's going to be accurate. They are going to need to depend on his legs, some RPOs, some quarterback run. If they are not part of the script, it is going to be hard for Penn State. Let's look at Oregon's offense versus Penn State's defense. Oregon's offense is top 10 level by yardage. We're talking about 530 yards per game and 3/4 of a point every single play. And there's great run and great pass balance because they've been able to spread the ball around. They've been able to run the ball for first downs. Big yardage in terms of both areas there. The connection between Dante Moore and the wide receivers is the thing that everybody wanted to see after Evan Stewart was lost in the offseason. But they have been led by true freshman DeCorey Moore, and the kid is absolutely fantastic. And he has drawn comparisons to Garrett Wilson over there with the Jets, who came from Ohio State. You add him in with Kenyon Sadiq, who's the best tight end in the country in terms of ability to run and catch, and then his blocking ability, because when you turn on the tape, you see him finishing people all over the place. Now, a strength about this team was supposed to be the running back room, but when you have seen that it was expected to be that two-lane transfer at running back, that he was going to be the bell cow, but he has not started a game. And it was Noah Whittington who came in as the starter. But then you've seen Jaden Lamar, that he's been the one starting. And you've seen two freshman running backs, De'Aaron Hill and Jordan Davison, get a ton of carries. This offensive line is moving bodies. So this offense is going to score points. It's just going to be a matter if Penn State is going to be able to get enough stops. But this Penn State defense, though, they are ranked number 1 nationally in opponent points per game at like 5.5. They're top 15 in yardage allowed, and they're led by their edge rusher, Dani Dennis-Sutton, and their linebacker, Amari Campbell. Now, they've been piling up sacks, they've been piling up tackles and pressures on the quarterback. And one of the things that is going to be a factor in this game is the communication on defense in this whiteout game, because it is going to be absolutely loud. And for Oregon to move on this offense, they're going to have to run the football and then take play actions off of that, and then have opportunities to free up DeCorey Moore, Bryant Jr. And the question is, can Penn State corners, can they handle man-to-man play without a safety help over the top? If not, putting two safeties is going to allow Oregon to run the football. So that's going to be one of the keys to the game. But this crowd noise, I am absolutely interested, because Oregon has not been a highly penalized team. So I want to see if there are any false starts, how this crowd factors into that. Now let's look at Penn State's offense versus Oregon's defense, because Penn State is averaging 437 yards per game, 40 points per game, but they have not exactly had, the toughest slate of games so far. But it is Nicholas Singleton and Kaytron Allen, who might be the best backfield in the entire country, plus a veteran offensive line. This is what makes Penn State go. Drew Allar, he's been efficient, but, vertical chunk plays have been limited in this season and really for the majority of his career. But this game is going to call for much more quarterback involvement in the run game and in the pass game too, if you're going to stress Oregon in every way that you're going to need to stress them. If you're watching his previous Oregon games, Northwestern had a little bit of success early running the football, even though they didn't score points. Oregon State had some success running the football early. Go back to the Big Ten championship game. It ran for over 250 yards against the Ducks. So this Penn State team is going to feel very confident that if they do not turn the ball over offensively and they're able to run the football, then they are going to have definitely a chance to win this football game. But now on the other side of it, you got Oregon's defense. Top 3 nationally in yards allowed and points allowed per game. Their tackling has largely been clean. They haven't had wide open people running. They haven't given up very many explosive plays all season. And they've created short fields. They've created takeaways. They've sacked the quarterback in every game except the last one. Bryce Boettcher, their middle linebacker, leads the team in stops. And they got multiple players generating pressure. But this Penn State offensive line, they did a good job in the Big Ten championship. Their offensive coordinator, Colt Nickey, did a great job of speeding Oregon up, which allowed multiple busts in coverage and quick and easy touchdowns. But the key for this Penn State offense, win first down. Get into third and short. Because if this offense can stay into third and short, they are going to have success. And they're going to be able to speed Oregon up the way they can't make the checks and get into the blitzes and the simulated pressures that they want to, which is going to make the picture much cleaner for their quarterback, Mr. Drew Allar. Now the question is, what are the X factors for this game? Oh, there is pressure everywhere. There's pressure on both of these quarterbacks. There is pressure on the head coaches to win these games. But for Oregon, it is going to be explosives versus the noise. Now, if their quarterback, Mr. Dante Moore, if he's able to communicate, if they're able to hand signal, if they're able to hear his cadence and the protection, if it survives, oh my God, Oregon's wide receivers, then they can tilt this game early, creating deep shots and creating opportunities to open up this run game as well. Because if you are Penn State, you're saying do not let Oregon run it, because that's what they want to do. They want to get into second and shorts and then take shots and be in third and short and manageable, because Dan Lanning is going to be aggressive. He's one of the most aggressive coaches in the country in terms of going for it on fourth down. The other part of it is going to be special teams and hidden yards, because Oregon has stolen possessions with field position under Lanning, because he has shown he's not afraid to do a fake punt. He's not afraid to run a trick play or anything else, because those are the types of things that can swing your win probability by 5 to 7%, in addition to whoever wins the turnover battle. Now for Penn State, their X factors. Number one is the whiteout, because the track record is real. Because Penn State has won 8 of the last 9 whiteouts. Now, it has created communication issues for visiting offensive linemen and their quarterbacks, and it often shows up in those drive-killing penalties that, set you back 1st and 15, or you're 2nd and 4, turn it into 2nd and 9. Those are not fun. And the other X factor, it has got to be Drew Allar. It has to be, because some quarterback runs could be the difference. Of course, he's going to have to make throws. He's going to have to make throws to the wide receivers. He's going to have to be accurate. And most importantly for them, he cannot turn the football over. When Oregon is on defense, if they don't have to account for him in the run game, that is going to 100% open up opportunities for them. So if they do some quarterback run, look for some glances, look for this offense from Penn State to roll. But my prediction is, I trust the Oregon Ducks to be prepared to go into Happy Valley and win. I believe that Penn State's early schedule has made it a little bit tough for them, because they're 3-0. They had a bye week, and they have not dealt with the level of intensity that they're going to have to face in this football game, and they were off last week. Penn State is favored in this game by 3.5. I'm taking the Ducks plus 3.5. Either way, feels like a win. And that over-under, think we are going to hit the over in this one as well. I'm George Wrighster. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, get notifications, and tell a friend. And be one of us.